This group of people, for some unknown reason, wandered into the cave of a gigantic crocodile. Even worse, the exit was blocked by water. The man was trying to find another way out when he encountered the crocodile right there. Before he could say anything, it bit him to death. Seeing his friend was gone for so long, he went to look for him, but couldn't find him, only his equipment. He had to return to deliver the bad news. The water was rising, and they couldn't find an exit. Below, the giant crocodile lurked. Would anyone survive and escape this place, or would the whole group perish? Let's watch today's recap video. The film begins with this man and his wife on a trip to the forest who get lost. Initially, he let his wife lead the way, but now they have no way out. The husband, frustrated, leaves first. He shouts something, and his wife, hearing him, calls his name and runs after him. In her pursuit, she stumbled into a rather large cave. Only when she saw her husband below did she sense something underwater. It was approaching her, and before she could stand up and run away, it pounced on her and grabbed her away. The camera then cuts to a group of friends on an exploration trip. They had planned to visit a nearby cave, a trip Cash had stumbled upon after seeing a post in a travel group. It mentioned a mysterious cave where many people had gone missing for unknown reasons. The whole group found it intriguing and packed their gear. Upon arriving, they put on their equipment, chatted for a while, and then the 5 of them descended into the cave. Eric found a small opening and called everyone in. There were a few leaks, but they thought it was probably nothing serious, just some underground water source. A little later, they emerged from the small tunnel. Eric turned on his flashlight, and before them was a relatively large lake. They split up to explore, searching for anything interesting. Outside, it was raining heavily, the water rushing, making them think that if they tripped, they'd be swept away. Inside the cave, Eric once again encountered a seeping spring. This gave him a bad feeling, so he signaled everyone to turn back. But as they were returning, Jen saw something moving gently underwater. She warned Cash and Eric to be careful. Suddenly, water surged in from nowhere, submerging everyone. Although quite panicked, they quickly swam to a cliff. Those who got there first pulled those behind them up. All 5 of them were unharmed. Initially, they planned to wait for the water to recede before leaving. But Eric noticed the water wasn't stopping, and if they waited any longer, they'd all drown. He told everyone to swim back across the path they'd come from. So they went back into the water, even though it was rising, but not yet high enough to cover their heads. As they were walking, there was a commotion behind them. Victor had somehow disappeared. Eric told everyone to get back to shore first. After they reached the shore, Victor surfaced. He was shouting for help and trying his best to swim to shore. Jen saw a rather large crocodile chasing him. Eric couldn't wait any longer and jumped in to save Victor. They were racing against death. Fortunately, Eric managed to push his friend and himself to shore before the crocodile's mouth could reach them. Victor escaped, but he suffered a serious injury to his abdomen. Luckily, everyone had brought some first aid supplies for him. Eric looked at the water level and made a decision. He and Cash would go into the water to retrieve the fallen backpack, which contained the waterproof phone, and call for help. Then they would swim out to get their guns and return to kill the monster. Cash was worried, saying that a crocodile that big could kill someone with just one bite. Despite his concerns, they realized they didn't really have a choice. Luckily, Cash spotted a carcass that could be used as bait. They pushed the carcass into the middle of the lake to attract the crocodile's attention, then moved cautiously underwater. Fortunately, the crocodile was preoccupied with the carcass, so they successfully edged slowly towards the hole. Then, the 2 of them dived underwater again to find their way out. While things were peaceful for them, something happened to Jen. Victor had a relapse. He said Yolanda had medicine in her bag. Jen yelled at her to get it. But because it was so light, it was almost impossible to throw it from a distance. The vial fell halfway through its flight. Seeing Victor breathing heavily, Jen asked if he had a spare. Victor said there was only one. But Yolanda couldn't control her fear of losing her husband and went into the water. Fortunately, she understood the crocodile's nature and tried to move as quietly as possible. Jen felt optimistic seeing her reach the middle of the water. But at that moment, the crocodile moved again. Jen quickly told Yolanda to stay still. Yolanda watched the crocodile swim past, too frightened to make a sound. Seeing this, Jen told Yolanda to swim as fast as she could to shore. Victor, having received timely medication, was breathing more easily. Meanwhile, back to the situation of the two men. They had found an exit and were diving down together, but couldn't see anything. Eric thought the current must have shifted the position of the rocks. So they both dived down and tried to move the rocks away. But no matter how hard they tried, the rocks wouldn't budge. They decided to look for another way out, but Eric's leg was pinned under a rock. Luckily, Eric struggled for a while and managed to free himself. But now they were separated. Cash surfaced, not seeing anything, and started searching. However, a crocodile appeared nearby. He tried to move as quietly as possible, but Cash was still bitten. He struggled and screamed desperately. When Eric surfaced and didn't see Cash, he went searching, but before he got far, he saw that Cash's equipment had drifted away. Knowing his friend was dead, he stopped and returned. He thought all hope was lost, but upon returning, Jen had found another hole. It was likely an exit. So Yolanda and Eric went to explore, leaving Jen to care for Victor. This plot point seems a bit off. We'll find out later that Jen and Victor discovered they were being cheated on. Eric and Yolanda had a passionate night together. Jen realized the water level had risen too high. Their current location was no longer safe, so she took a risk and helped Victor to another spot. Fortunately, they managed to climb onto a high rock before the crocodile could bite Victor's leg. Sitting high up, Victor saw Cash's bag drifting towards them. He told Jen to try and retrieve it. If they had a chance to escape, they would still have something to use. And although the bag had drifted very close, it was still out of her reach. Jen had to wade into the water to retrieve it. But up above, Victor saw the crocodile begin to move. He frantically shouted, urging Jen to get out of the water quickly. Although she managed to escape, in her haste, Jen hit her head on a rock and fainted. Victor struggled to drag his battered body down to wake her. While observing where the crocodile was, it suddenly surfaced, grabbed Victor, and dragged him down. Jen, terrified, covered her eyes to avoid seeing this horrific sight. On Eric's side, they had reached the end of the cave but found nothing. It was a dead end, so the two of them had to turn back in despair. They started arguing because there was no way out. But at that moment, the three of them came across a whirlpool. Eric threw something down to probe it, but it was swept away. It was very likely the exit. Without hesitation, all three quickly went down. The crocodile lunged again. Eric decided to use himself to create a way out for the other two. Jen shouted, but he didn't budge, clutching a tiny knife. Before he could stab, the crocodile's mouth clamped down on him. Jen could do nothing more and left. They crawled through one hole and found another. They crawled through that hole and were out of the cave, reaching a river. Overjoyed, Jen and Yolanda quickly got into their car and sped away. They were driving along smoothly when there was a fallen tree blocked the entire road. Jen swerved to avoid it, causing them both to plunge into the river. They landed right in the spot where the crocodile had been earlier. Jen told Yolanda to get the gun, but the water in the car made opening the glove compartment difficult. By the time they got the gun, the crocodile had disappeared. Suddenly, it attacked from the side. Although no one was injured, the car sank. Jen and Yolanda quickly escaped from the car and waded to shore. Unbeknownst to them, the crocodile had surfaced and was chasing them. Just as they were about to reach the shore, it caught up. Jen pulled Yolanda aside and used her gun to shoot the crocodile. It managed to bite her. It turned to tighten its grip on its target underwater. When the water stopped moving, Jen surfaced. The crocodile, having been shot earlier, was already dead. Yolanda was so relieved that she hugged Jen, who was covered in injuries. The two of them helped each other ashore, ending the most unforgettable journey of their lives. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.